whoa, my friends. This is a fun time. And I mean, this is a fun time to be a content creator. Predictions are kind of a thing that you have to make at the start of the season. You have to hold yourself to them. You make predictions and then sometimes things come true, sometimes things don't. And to an extent you make predictions because it's a bit of fun between us, right? If you do know me, thanks for subscribing. If you don't know me, don't judge me too harshly just yet. Because there's been some things I've kind of been right on in the season, but there's also been some stuff I've been horribly wrong, and I can do horribly wrong this season on. So judge me however you want. If you think I got a majority of my predictions this season right, put Laurence, you're a genius in the comments below. If you think I've got a majority of my predictions wrong this season, put Laurence, you're an idiot. Let's get into it, friends. This one is the Premier League table. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. This, I predicted all the games back to back. That's the table. I knew it. I did it. I went, yeah, Southampton down, Leeds down, Leicester down. No need to do a bigger video now, guys. The next 20 minutes, too easy for you. You don't need it, put it that way. Just kidding, that's the end Premier League table there. And clearly I don't have any foresight into the future because look at the hair in this video. What are you doing, Laurence? Look at that. Wait, focus on there. There you go. What are you doing? I knew I'd get to this. I didn't know I'd get to this, but you know what I mean? This is going to be a fun one. I get the feeling this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to go through the Premier League table 20-1. Let's see what happens. Look, let's start with my bottom 3/bottom 5, all right? Now, we all know at the end of the season that the teams that went down, Southampton, I had them teetering just above. Leeds, kind of got Leeds right. And then the final one, who was the final team that went down? Why are they so instantly forgettable? Leicester were the final one. They're not forgettable in any manner. I didn't have Leicester anywhere near this. In fact, I thought that Brendan Rodgers would try and push on with this side. I was naive. I think at the end of the day, a lot of age and a lot of maybe inertia is a thing in the Premier League sometimes. A sense of inertia is very important. I thought Bournemouth would go down. And at the start of the season, if you go back to it, if they'd have just stuck with him, if they'd have been loyal, why weren't Bournemouth loyal? Then they probably would have gone down. And ultimately, he's managing another country now, so he's fine. And they're fine too, because they stayed in the Premier League. And was I gutted not to be part of that influencer video that they put out? There's one of the few times in my life where I look at that and I go, thank God I don't have a big online profile. There's very few times. The money the guys in that clip earn, unbelievable. Probably all made a whole load of stuff. And then Fulham, I was badly wrong. And I don't know why I underestimated Fulham. I think, you've got to put the Nottingham Forest that. Don't even try and do the maths on this. I was just wrong. Fulham fans were angry. I think I was trying to annoy some people who like Mitrovic. I think I kind of thought that maybe Mitro would get injured and then some other stuff wouldn't come off, and that maybe, if they didn't keep the squad, I don't know what the logic was. It's not even worth talking about. Southampton, I had them teetering just above. I thought they were going to do more special things. They've got the takeover of the club. Things seem to be getting in the right direction, roughly. The whole Nathan Jones thing was horrific. I'm going to do a season review later in the week, so I don't want to do that too much. And then Everton, let's just face it, guys. Called it. It's one of the few that I called. So of the bottom 5, I think I called 3 of them. That's not bad. It's not great. Let's be honest. To be honest, the hair's still horrific. The hair's still horrific, but the hair is horrific. Just above that, I did put Wolves and Brentford. Can I just compare my Premier League table? Wolves and Brentford, not a million miles off. Brentford, terrible. I don't know why. I thought Brentford might drop off this season a little bit, and I thought Wolves have kind of been in that zone anyway, so I don't know what you're worried about. I put Nottingham Forest in 15th. Where did Forest finish? Forest, exactly. They finished 16th. Not terrible. If I'm being completely open-heartedly honest here, I think my main issue was the logic that backed these things up was bad. Forest fans, I saw you bringing it together. I didn't know that you'd bring it. I mean, I did know, obviously. You're one of the few people I got in roughly even the right position. That's not a preview of the future. Don't click off net yet, all right? I saw it coming together for Forest, but maybe too late. I saw it coming together for Everton, but maybe too late. I saw it in the same for Southampton. I thought Wolves would just be just Wolves. And, you know, they're in this position now where they're sort of like, do we stick or twist? If I was them, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd stick. I feel like Lopetegui's got a little bit more, but I feel like they're going to twist. Does that make sense? Brentford, I was disrespectful. I owe you more than that. Brentford, you ultimately finished. That's right, my friends, 9th. How many places above where I was? 4. Not terrible, in the right zone, but this next one really kills me. Don't unsubscribe. Please don't unsubscribe. 12th to 11th. Do I need to leave now? I thought Aston Villa were going to have this kind of season where basically Gerrard was going to have a solid season, lay down a bit of groundwork for what was going to come next, and I didn't realise that the wheels would come off. Ultimately, realising the wheels were going to come off was maybe something that I should have done with Villa. You had an inexperienced manager who needed to lead by, you know, example, and needed to lead by vibes, and needed to lead by, and if those things get overtaken by some other strong characters in the squad, the likelihood is, as a manager, you're going to go. And that's what happened to Steven Gerrard at Villa. Philippe Coutinho has not really played since. Have they improved managers? Absolutely. Is he way more experienced than Gerrard? Absolutely. Why didn't we see this coming? Possibly because you would have thought that maybe he got a bit more time. Do people put the Frank Lampard mould onto Steven Gerrard because those two constantly get compared throughout their careers? Sure. I was just wrong. And ultimately, I think Villa are a sleeping giant. They are one of the few sides who I'd love to see back in Europe. And actually, I'd probably be quite happy for them because they don't seem like the kind of people to rub it in people's faces. Maybe because I still think of them weirdly as Martin O'Neill types, but they're not. Brighton, I was just wrong. But grant me this, right? 8 times out of 10, Brighton don't bring in a De Zerbi, and they bring in someone who blows it up, and they finish 12th because De Zerbi hit the ground running. And Graham Potter, did we really see that coming? Not really. But maybe we kind of did. And I think the Graham Potter thing, I thought Graham Potter would just sort of poodle. I didn't think it would like be good for Potter. I just thought it would be very neutral for them. Hair, still terrible. Horrific hair. Like, don't even look at it now, but look at it then. I don't know what style that is. Do I think I'm Greek? Ultimately, Brighton came good, and I think they deserve way more respect. They made it into the European spot. I was way off on that one. How far away was I? I was off to the point where they doubled where I thought they would be in the league, which isn't really the way it works, but they doubled it. They finished in the top half, and above that, you know, Villa really were just behind them, 1 point difference. Horrific take. You idiot. Just look at him. You idiot. Who'd have foreseen what happened this season coming? Clearly I didn't. But, you know, the World Cup made a big difference. I think that sitting in the middle of the season made a huge difference for so many managers. You could argue that maybe Leeds should have gotten rid then. You should have argued that maybe Everton should have seen this coming. You should have argued that, maybe the World Cup did a real favour for Bournemouth. I think a lot of people used it as time. Leeds probably should have seen this coming. And Fulham, I should have seen that one coming. But the Villa and Brighton thing, just horrific. Next up, you can see I'm still doing the same hand motions back then. Am I changing enough? No. Didn't see the Leicester City implosion coming. They've got enough quality. Don't try and justify it, but they do have enough quality in that side to have finished 10th in the table. In fact, 10th felt low. I was being too respectful, as Rory would say, to the establishment. And maybe at the start of the season, I'm learning a lot from my pre-season predictions. I thought a few other people would have manager implosions. A couple of people have manager implosions that I didn't expect. Some of them, they, drove out of the wiggle to keep the caravan on the track. Some of them wiggled away until the end of the season, and that wiggled them out of the Premier League ultimately. I think that happened with Leeds, probably happened with Leicester, and I think it could have happened with Everton. Sam Allardyce relegated again. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Not me. Anyway, Leicester, I don't know why I think I was there's this middle ground where you sort of go, I don't feel strongly either way. 10th. Ultimately, though, I think Leicester are going. I'm worried about Leicester. I think it's difficult to come back up because I do think they'll lose some key squad members. But ultimately, if they don't replace, if they can't reinvest, we'll see how they handle it. It's tragic what has happened to Leicester, and so bizarre to think that both Everton and Leicester were both teams that I think of as like Premier League stalwarts for years, were so close to it this year. Leeds, similar. Southampton, kind of similar, but you just need a South Coast team in there. And Bournemouth, you're very much that. By the way, again, congratulations to Bournemouth. Good clips. Now, next up, Newcastle. Newcastle are the surprise package of the season. Don't even at me on this one. They just are the surprise package. And then, did anyone see Eddie Howe bringing this squad to this level? Possibly very, should we say positive Newcastle fans? But even then, the optimistic amongst us didn't think they'd reach the top four. But then when they started the season, we just saw them. They just hit the ground running. It was great. They did the Eddie Howe thing, possibly tailed off at some point, but finished very strong when they realised they're in the top four. Congratulations, Newcastle. I think what you've done there is laid down a real marker for what is going to go forward. And really, you've thrown a cat amongst the pigeons. But you are not the cat now. You are one of the pigeons. Although maybe they are the cat. And I still think maybe Newcastle are the cat. Crystal Palace, I was confident in Patrick Vieira. I've got links with NYCFC and friendships. I like New York. I wanted to see him do well there, and I wanted to see him do well at Palace. I wanted to see a young squad of really promising, impressive players do well. I wanted to see Chris Richards do well. I wanted to see Zaha do well and finish positively with them. He didn't do terribly, but did we see it happening like this? Where did Crystal Palace finish, by the way, guys? Where did they finish? Palace finished 11th. Not a million miles off what I said, but still a million miles off what I said. The difference between 8th and 11th is way different to the difference between 14th and 11th. Does that make sense? So I was so wrong on Villa, so wrong on Brighton. Oh, mate, just say it. You're just an idiot. Look at your stupid hair. Just grow it out or go to the barber. Do you know what I mean? Idiot. Anyway, just above them, I put West Ham. Where did West Ham finish in the league? 14th. They doubled it. I thought they'd kick on because of some of their signings. I thought Declan Rice last season there. I think ultimately they've sacrificed league position for Europa Cup or whatever, Europa Conference League position. Congratulations on that. I think that's huge for some of my good friends. I love Spen. I'm glad Spen's going there. Bez is a friend as well. I think we're friends. I don't know if he thinks we're friends, but I like him. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm an acquaintance to him. A lot of people are friends with the Sidemen, though, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? We're friends, I like them. Is that reciprocal? I think they might. Let's not evaluate that in this video. They're nice guys. They've always been nice. I'd love to have done the commentary. I'd love to have done some creative stuff for them. Do you know what I mean? I like their team that run it. Con and John and all those guys. They just seem like nice guys. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. And I'm trying to divert away from the fact that I badly miscalled West Ham United. Mate, what are you thinking? What you got to do is you got to look at what happened this season and then apply a model to it. I'm going to try and change my prediction model for next season. Purely on the basis that I was just so badly wrong. But at the same time, should have seen some of this stuff coming. I was high on my own supply, can you say? Next up, here's me telling you about the size of what I think Manchester United's... No, I was wrong. I wasn't wrong on United. Listen, I'm going to stand by this take. United fans obviously will come to laugh on this one, and rightly so. But let's be honest, guys. The reason you got top four this season was because other people fell away. If other people had rallied correctly... and you hadn't, maybe United stumbles, they fix them next season. But if United had been United this season, the Casemiro thing really rocked you late. I think that was a muddy period. The rocking of the Ronaldo boat was not a good one. We forget how many weird things have happened. What I'm saying is I can justify the take in the sense that I think Erik ten Hag will take you further, and I think he's a fantastic manager. I think if other teams had come good, it could have really badly derailed what had happened. And maybe I feel like United's wobble, which, even in the post-season comments from people like Bruno Fernandes, right? It's just come on, mate. You're talking about Liverpool here, Oh, Liverpool. Talk about what your own self. Why do you think people in the Premier League don't like you? I'm joking. I did miscall it. The difference between 6th and 4th is huge for United. Should have called that one better. But ultimately, there are too many teams in the top 4. It's about to get funny, guys, so stick with me on this one. United, well done on top 4. I don't really look forward to seeing you back in the Champions League, but you will be there. Give me something to watch. I can't wait for you to get. Anyway, it's not a million miles, but did this United team deserve top 4 this season? Ask yourself. Ask yourself. I also saw Chelsea finishing outside the top 4. Don't try and justify it. I saw some cracks. I knew that Tuchel would be gone soon. There was some insider gossip that was coming my way from multiple different people. Come on. We all saw it, didn't we? But did we see the Graham Potter thing going so badly? And did we see don't even try and get animated on this. Did we see the hilarity of what was going to happen to Frank Lampard and the guys? Probably not, if we're being honest. We didn't think it would be this bad. He's kind of I don't get what happened there with Lampard. We'll do that in the season review. But, you know, and I know. We both know, right? We knew that Chelsea would fall away to an extent. We knew that the Bowley era would take a little while to gain some momentum. And I feel like maybe next season that comes if they get Poch in. I'll have a Poch video as soon as Poch signs, because Poch is one of my favourite managers, and I think they made a mistake in not getting him in late. But I feel like they also know there are some toxic elements within the squad they need to get rid of. I thought it would be like that. I thought they'd have the strength. They do have strength and depth. That squad is incredible. They've got to trim it massively and they'll be all right. This bad take here, where did they finish actually in the Premier League? God, this is bad. 12th. They didn't even double. Just bad. Just bad. Bad intelligence. Go on then, laugh at me. I underestimated Arteta, but I was one of the few people who had faith in him at the start of the season. So a top 4 finish, I thought he'd edge Chelsea, edge United. It would be a wholesome season, and we'd all go, "Oh, Arteta, you did it!" He massively outstripped expectations. In retrospect, obviously, I know a few people have spoken to the Arsenal squad since, and they said, "Oh, we felt like we had something special going." Something special this season would have been top 4 for Arsenal. So don't even try and justify it. Obviously, everyone underestimated Arsenal, or a majority of them did, apart from Ty. But and then I massively overestimated what Conte and Spurs had. Tragic, really, what happened with Conte. I think this season, he's lost some close friends. He had his surgery. I don't want to blame it too much on that. I think he'd already sort of lost the team before that anyway. And they kind of look through the comments on the original video, this video. If you look at it, it's not great. But a lot of people did say, I can see Spurs falling away because they're two talismen of Son and Kane. Both could look a little bit tired. Now, Son and Kane, one dropped away. The other one has gone on to have a pretty prolific season, but not prolific by what we believe his standards to be. And maybe since some of his standards have been blown to pieces by Haaland. So, again, he's had kind of a good season. I think 30 goals in all competitions is pretty good. Underwhelming, though, ultimately, Spurs this season. And where did they finish in the Premier League? That's right, folks. Yeah, they finished 8th. Horrific season for them. They've got a massive rebuild going on. They should have gone and got Poch. They should have done something more serious, and they didn't. And ultimately, I'm really disappointed. You can see me. I included this one mostly because I like what I was doing with the hair at the time. Look at that jawline. I had a chubby little face back then. Back then. Been a tough time. Give me a break. It's been a tough time. And then I broke the news. Listen, at the time I backed it because it was Liverpool. At the time I backed it because it was, hey, Jurgen Klopp and the boys are going to come good. At the time, they'd just beaten City in the Community Shield. There was a good feeling around the team. There were weird cracks that you kind of see, but I was firm in it. I was just like, hey, Klopp was saying things like this team is really come together. They're more together than I've ever seen them before. And ultimately, I think maybe he was trying to paper over some public cracks there. The guys are good, they is still a good team. They've done some impressive things in the late run-in, but there were just cracks that no one really saw getting this big. And I think ultimately age, time, and lack of reinvestment has caught up with this squad, and possibly just cycles of what they're doing with the team in general. I think it's catching up with the team. And I had City finishing second too. And I think I said it, like, I didn't think it would be 10 points. I didn't think it would be a massive gap. But my logic was poor season, good season, poor season, good. Like, Liverpool had just fallen short the previous year. I thought that would have put a fire in them. That was my logic. Really poor logic. Because ultimately, when you look at it, Liverpool finished outside the top four. And really, if you look at it, look here. Look, really, did Liverpool deserve to finish fifth this season? Had they started their run a little bit earlier, I think they would have caught United. But they were so far off the top four, it's unbelievable. And you can sort of see it here in this final frame. Oh. Do you know what I mean? What am I doing there? City. I underestimated them badly. My logic in the video is this. They will not be able to make it click. For the early part of the season, boy was I vindicated. But I did not, I mean, maybe I did, but I did not see this incredible late run from City. Haaland being so prolific, the City side being so prolific, people just understanding that Pep Guardiola is the GOAT in management. There's other managers who are prolific in their era, and I will talk about GOAT managers over the summer. But of this era, there's something special that Pep is doing. I love Jurgen Klopp. What Pep is doing as this boutique-y, bespoke thing with a huge amount of cash, sure. 40 million spent per position, sure. I think a lot of people thought maybe the transition season, Liverpool with the Arsenal with the Liverpool this year. Ultimately, that table is horrific. Look at it. Look at that. That is awful. But at the same time, you can sort of see the logic. You just can. Can you? Can you? Yeah. Listen, I'll talk about my vision for the channel in the future. Let me know what you think. Is this horrific? Is it so bad? It's so bad to say Liverpool in the top. That top four is terrible. I got 2 out of the top 4 right. And I got the other 2 pretty badly wrong. Tottenham and Liverpool dropped away. Could anyone have foreseen that? Probably, if you looked into it properly. These are vibes, all right? Don't try and justify it, it's just vibes. Let me know what your vibes were at the start of the season. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think is going to happen come the end of the season next year. Where's Liverpool going to be? Could this be a more accurate Premier? Was I ahead of my time? Am I predicting the Premier League table for next season? Even with Leeds and Bournemouth and even with Leeds and Southampton and who else went down? Stop forgetting Leicester. I thought Leicester would finish higher. They keep slipping out of my grasp. Let me know what you think of the predictions. It was terrible, wasn't it? Don't hammer me too bad. I need this channel. Just hungry kids. They're so hungry. Hungry kids. I've really enjoyed this season. No, that's a lie. This season's been really hard. It's like really a mental challenge. I know I went missing for a while, probably for the best. The World Cup made a huge difference. Obviously, let's not do personals. We'll do personal stuff another time. Ultimately, I think the World Cup did have an impact on this season. I think maybe Arsenal would have fallen away sooner had they not had the World Cup, because I think it gave Arteta a bit of time to salve some wounds, to take stock. I think it also probably gave City a bit of time to just get a few ducks in a row. It should have given Liverpool more time. It should have given Spurs more time. It should have given Chelsea and United some more time. A few too many people lost big amounts of their squad away. City, in particular, even lost a huge amount of their squad away. So, but they kept a few key people. And I think that matters. It's not about the size of the amount of people that leave. It's about the members of the squad that do leave and who you keep. And I think I'm sad to see Leeds go. I'm sad to see Southampton go. I'm really sad to see Leicester go. I think they're 3 stalwarts of the Premier League. Could Leeds have saved it? Yes. Could Fulham have saved it? They did. Could Bournemouth have saved it? They did. Could Southampton have saved it? Absolutely. Look at the points difference between them and everyone else above them. 3 wins is the difference between them and relegation. Maybe 3 wins and a draw. You telling me they couldn't have done that this season? They absolutely could. We'll do a season review, talking about narratives, all sort of things later in the season, but I look forward to hearing more from you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already hit it. We're on our way to 60K. We are but a humble channel who is trying to get to 60K. We're at 59 something right now, 59,300. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't already hit subscribe, hit it. I look forward to seeing you guys again on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. It was an interesting season. Many, many more videos to come. Looking back, many, many more looking forward. I look forward to Poch signing for Chelsea. Oh, damn, that was bad.